Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss Johnson. I teach 4th grade writing at Uplift Hampton. So I am coming to you live through a video because we are not able to see each other face to face, even though I wish we could. I am so sad that we are not at school. But I hope that you guys are keeping safe at home. I hope that you are washing your hands. I hope that you are following our day schedule and you are getting your math and your reading or writing lesson every day, because it's going to help you when you're ready to go to 5th grade. So I am here to teach you guys about capitalization today in writing, and I have a special friend here with me too.
Hey y'all, I miss y'all. It's me, Miss Jackson, just to catch y'all from you.
She might look different with a hat.
Yeah.
But before we get started, I wanted to go over some ground rules and some things that you're going to need for my writing class. You will need a piece of paper, either notebook paper like this, or you can use a notebook, which can be like a regular spiral or a composition notebook, but just something to keep your notes together. You're also going to need a pen or a pencil. It is your choice since you are at home. Get wild with it. It can be any color that you want. And then also, every time that I post a video in writing, please look for a study island assignment that matches what the video is. So today we're talking about capitalization. So at home, you should be looking for a study island assignment to complete after you have watched the entire video. Before we get started with instruction, I want to start with something that you guys love, which is a Mad Lib. I know we haven't done them a lot, but now that we have a little bit more time, I'm able to give you something fun. So we'll start with this one. Mad Lib, afraid of the dark. So I need a plural noun. I'm going to use puppies. A verb ending in ing, like fighting. Don't fight. It's not cool. Okay? A noun like cup. A noun like cat. Plural noun like mice. A part of the body, I'm going to say a finger. Another noun, I'm going to say an elephant. I'm thinking of a lot of animals. Had to switch it up. A verb like, jumping. Part of the body, arms. Verbs ending in ing like spitting, which is gross. Don't spit on people, it's very disrespectful. A noun like, not an animal, a car. Another noun, a kneecap? I don't know. Part of the body, a baby toe. A verb, quickly. And another part of the body like your teeth. Is it teeth? I'm going to use teeth. Okay, here we go. Even though you're not here with me, I would like for you to read along with me as we read our Mad Lib. So here we go. We got to start with the title, Afraid of the Dark. I was home alone and scared out of my puppies. I could hear the wind fighting, and off in the distance a cup was howling. I crossed the room, locked the cat, and climbed into bed, pulling the mice over my finger. What? Then it happened. I could hear an elephant jumping up the stairs. My arms started to shatter, and my knees began spitting. The car was thrust open, and there was a huge kneecap with hair all over his baby toe. It was my father. Hi, we're home, he said quickly. Hope you weren't afraid of staying home alone. No, I said, lying through my teeth. Oh, that works perfectly. Okay, well, every video that I give you guys with writing, I'm going to try to remember to start with the Mad Lib, because I know that you guys love those so much. Go ahead and get out your piece of paper and your pen or pencil so that we can go ahead and take notes. Our topic for today is capitalization. So at the top of your paper, I would like for you to write capitalization. Please make sure that you do not misspell the word capitalization because it is right here on the video. Ooh, now it's right here on the video. Okay. We are going to focus on two topics today. So you can split your paper in half. On one side, I'm going to talk about the first major rule of capitalization, which is you always, and I want you to write it on your paper too, you always capitalize the first word in a sentence. And man, that's like fundamental. It's the first thing that you learn maybe in kindergarten or first grade. You guys know that you're supposed to capitalize the first word in the sentence, but you guys make a mistake a lot of times when that sentence is inside of quotations. So, if I have a sentence like, I eat pizza, of course, you guys all do a very good job of capitalizing that first letter because it's at the beginning of the sentence, but also because it is the pronoun I, which is also another capitalization rule. But if the sentence was yum, oops, can't spell. If it was yum, that pizza was great. In this sentence, you have to also make sure that you capitalize the first letter inside of the quotations. Yum, so this Y would be incorrect. It would need to be a capital letter Y. So on your paper, make sure you make a capital letter Y there. It gets a little tricky when the quotation mark is in the middle of the sentence. So for example, Casey said yum, this pizza is good. In this sentence, yum is not the first letter of the entire sentence, but it is the first letter inside of the quotations. So anytime that you have a sentence inside of the quotations, that first letter has to be capitalized. Okay? The other rule I want to focus on today is that we always capitalize geographical locations. So when I'm talking about a geographical location, I'm talking about a place that I can travel to, a place that I can see on a map, a place that I maybe saw on TV, or, you know, something that's on the globe. Any type of geographical location can include a city, a state, a country, or it could include things like rivers and other bodies of water. So I want to give you some examples of that, but I'm kind of running out of room here, so I'm going to use a different piece of paper. You can use the same one because you probably have more room than me. So when I was talking about cities, any city that we see in writing has to be capitalized. So some examples of a city would be Dallas. The D, of course, would have to be capitalized. Other cities like Chicago or New York also have to be capitalized. Notice how Dallas and Chicago is only one word, and so it's easy to know, oh, we capitalized the D, oh, we capitalized the C. For New York, it's two words, and we have to always remember that even though it's two words, both of those words are important, and both of those words get a capital letter. Okay? So that's city. What about states? We have Texas, Illinois, California. These are all one-word states, and of course the very first letter has to be capital. If I had a two-word state like North Dakota, I'd have to make sure too that I capitalize the N in North and also the D in Dakota. The last one I want to focus on is bodies of waters. Bodies of waters can be tricky because sometimes we don't realize that two of the words are connected, so we'll capitalize one instead of the other, and that's where we're having some confusion. So some examples of a body of water could be like the Nile River. The word Nile and the word river are part of the name of that body of water, so both the N and the R have to be capitalized. Another example could be the Panama Canal. Panama has to be capital, but also canal. So the P and the C would be capital. Other examples are like mountains. If there was Mount Rushmore, both of those would have to be capitalized. Mount Everest. And so on and so on. So you get the picture. I just want you to write in your notes somewhere that anytime there is a title of a geographical location and there's more than one word, that you have to be sure that you capitalize both of those words. So now I want to do some practice with you. We're going to do 3 of them today, and then I'll give you some practice on your own. So today I am using material from Texas Right Source, their skills book, and it is a consumable, so we'll be writing in it today. And we'll start with capitalization number 1. Just like we just learned, every first letter of a sentence has to be capitalized, yet other capitalization rules are not so obvious. So this activity will give us practice with capitalizing proper nouns that are geographical terms, proper adjectives, and titles used with names. So we kind of talked about geographical locations already, but proper adjectives is a new thing to us, so we'll be focusing on that today. And titles with names is just going to be a review. So let's see some examples. Proper nouns that are geographic terms. My family recently moved here from Chicago. So Chicago is one of the ones that we just used in the example before, and it is a city. Because it is a city, the C in Chicago has to be capitalized all the time. So any place that you can go to, you can visit, it is a proper noun and it has to have a capital letter. So the C would be capital. Here's an example of a proper adjective. A Chicago mayor oversees more people than some state governors do. Here, the word Chicago is not used as a location. Instead, it's used as an adjective to describe the mayor. It's telling us that this guy that we're talking about is the mayor of Chicago. So, Chicago is then a proper adjective to modify the mayor. In that instance, Chicago would need to be capitalized. And the very last example is titles used with names. For years, Chicagoan kept re-electing Mayor Daley. It's easy for us to identify that Daley needs to be capitalized because it is the last name of a person, just like the first name of a person is important. But this word mayor sometimes is mistaken as a word that doesn't need to be capitalized. Because mayor is the title of Mr. Daley, we have to capitalize it. Even if this said Mr. Daley, we'd have to also capitalize the word Mr. or the abbreviation Mr. And we'll talk about abbreviations in a moment. So now let's do some practice. The directions say we're going to find and change the words that should be capitalized. The first sentence has been done for us. Let's review it. Gustavo and I went with Aunt Julia to meet Governor Flood. The A here in Aunt should be capitalized because Aunt is one of these titles that's used with the name. Aunt tells us about Julia, so it needs to be capitalized. Same thing here with Governor and Flood. Governor is the title of a person, so we have to capitalize the G in Governor because it's connected to this word Flood. So I'm going to do number 2 with you and number 3, and then you guys are going to do independent practice for questions 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. At any moment, if I'm going too fast, you can pause the video or rewind the video so that you can catch up. But we're going to go ahead and start with number 2. He came to our town to give a speech about Mayor Frost. Here, Mayor is connected with this word Frost, and Frost is the guy's last name, so we have to make sure that we capitalize that. Mayor goes with this title of either proper adjective or titles with the name, so we have to also capitalize Mayor just like we capitalized Governor. On your piece of paper, I just want you to make sure that you write down the entire sentence and write it correctly. Make sure that you have a capital letter at the beginning and punctuation at the end. Okay, number 3. We live in Radnor, South Carolina. Radnor is not a place that I've ever been before, but I know South Carolina is a state. So I'm going to capitalize both the S in South and the C in Carolina. Now, Radnor tells me exactly where in South Carolina that they live, so Radnor must be a city. Because it is a city, it also deserves a capital letter. So this will become a capital R. Okay? After the video, I would like for you to complete 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own. And all of these are looking for capitalization errors with these 3 examples. So you should be able to tie each of the ones that you correct with one of these examples. Okay? Let's go ahead and do capitalization rule number 2. An abbreviation is a way to shorten a word. Many abbreviations are capitalized. Most abbreviations use a period. It's very important for you to notice that they said most abbreviations use a period because some of them do and some of them don't. So it's up to you to know what the rules are of which one needs a period and which doesn't. Today we're focusing on where the period goes, but also where the capitalization goes. So let's look at some examples. Abbreviations of titles. Miss Walls, Mr. Jones, Dr. Livingston, General MacArthur Jr. and Sr., and Sammy Davis Jr. What are some things that you notice about each of these abbreviations? You should have noticed, 1, that all of them are blue. 2, that all of them have a capitalized letter at the beginning, but also that all of them have a period at the end. So here, Miss has a capital M, and I'm just going to underline those capital letters so that you can pay attention to them. I do want you to write these examples down so that you can refer back to them later. Okay, abbreviations for companies. This is one that we are not as familiar with. This first one, CORP, is the abbreviation for corporation. Notice that it has a capital C and a period. INC is the abbreviation for incorporated, capital I and a period. LTD is the abbreviation for limited, capital L and a period, and then CO is the abbreviation for company. Capital C and a period. We also have abbreviations for countries and states. US stands for the United States of America. UK stands for United Kingdom. And then these four are states. Can you guess which states they represent? I'll just tell you. So TX is Texas, AL is Alabama, FL is Florida, NY is New York. Notice how this first one has 2 periods in between each of the abbreviations, and these do not use periods at all. So a lot of the times when you see states that are abbreviated properly, they will not have periods in the middle of them. Okay, last one. Last example for capitalization 2 is abbreviations of addresses. So anytime that we are writing a street name, we can use avenue, AVE, or street, ST, or this one, which is a little different for us, which is boulevard. So notice how they all start with the capital letter and end with the period. For this activity, we're going to circle the abbreviation in each sentence, and then we're going to write the correct form on the line. I am going to do questions 1 and 2 with you, and then afterwards, you are going to complete questions 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Or you can pause the video and complete them at this time. So let's start with the first one. Barton Games Corporation manufactures computer games. Corporation matches this corporation here. We have to make sure it has a capital C and that it ends with a period. So we're going to write it correctly here on the line. Capital C, O-R-B, and a period. Okay, moving on to number 2. My neighbor, Mr. Morris, works for that company. The abbreviation here is Mr. And the correct form of Mr., if you don't know, should look here. But Mr. should be a capital M, R, and a period. This time, I would like for you to pause it and complete 3 through 7, or you can wait to the end to complete it. I also want you to do the next steps challenge, which is show how you would write these state abbreviations at the top of a letter or an envelope. So you're going to take these incorrect abbreviations and just correct them and make them right. Last capitalization rule for today. I would like for you to remember that you must capitalize initials. Initials are usually followed by a period. Capitalize acronyms as well. Acronyms are words that are formed from the first letter or letters of a phrase. So for example, when I was growing up, we learned PEMDAS in math. So PEMDAS is an example of an acronym. It stands for Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. And every time that we wrote it, we wrote them in all capital letters like this. And we had to make sure that we put periods in between each one because each letter represents a different word. So in math, this taught us the order of operations. So this was parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But I just want you to notice how each of these are the beginning of another word. So it's just like a mnemonic device to help you remember something that's hard to remember. That's what an acronym is. Also, initialisms are formed like acronyms, except that each letter in the abbreviation is pronounced. For example, in the initials A.E. Housen, the A and the E are both capitalized and have a period after, and they stand for the first name and middle name of a person. His last name would be Housen. Same thing here for T.S. Eliot. The first name starts with a T, middle name starts with an S, and last name is Eliot. Here we have J.R.R. Tolkien. Moving on to acronyms. UNESCO is an acronym. Each of these letters stands for a word here. So this is United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. So the acronym is all together and all capitalized, and each letter stands for a word in the entire phrase. Another example is NASA or NASA. They're all capital with no periods in the middle, and it stands for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Last example is initialism, where you put the initials together and it stands for a different word or another title. So a CD stands for a compact disc, which you guys probably don't know anything about. A TV stands for a television. An ATV stands for all-terrain vehicle, or like a four-wheeler. And FDA stands for the Food and Drug Administration. So for the last activity today, we are going to write the names correctly of the items for 1 through 3 on the lines provided. And then we're going to write the correct acronym or initialism for items 4 through 8. I am going to complete questions 1 and 4 with you, and then you guys are going to complete questions 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own. So number 1 is Pearl S. Buck. We have to make sure that each letter of a name is capitalized, so this S needs a capital, and so does this B. So we are going to write the name correctly on the line. This would be Pearl, which is already capital, so we just copy it over. The S needs to be capital, don't forget the period, and Buck needs to have a capital B. So you will complete 2 and 3. And then for number 4, the directions kind of change a little bit, and we are going to take the words that are already there and create an acronym or initialism for them. So for number 4, it is an unidentified flying object, which I see some of those in my classroom quite often. But this one refers to one that's seen out of space, or you can see it from Earth, out of space. So an unidentified flying object is a UFO. And when you write it on the line, you have to make sure that it has all capital letters. The UFO. Simple enough. So you guys are going to create the acronym and initialism for 5 through 8. So that is it for today. The only thing that you are responsible for are the questions that we talked about, but also for the study island assignment under capitalization. So go ahead and log in to study island during the enrichment time or during your independent practice, and I will see you guys again on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Tell Mom and Dad Miss Johnson said hi. Until Tuesday, Johnson out.